Listen, it's your childhood calling. I'm thinking about the times when I'd yell up to my mother from outside, and pretty soon she'd crack open a window and toss down a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with maybe an apple or some grapes in a brown paper bag. Those were good times. Long before television, hours filled with the Hoist, the Green Sail, Red Rover, Kick the Can, Blind Man's Bluff, Simon Says, Dodgeball, Tag, Hide and Seek, Mother May I, Capture the Flag, and, if you were a boy, building forts as soon as school was out. And on into the long summer afternoons, becoming dusk, until it was time to come in for supper. In my reverie, I still listened to the mothers calling, always the mothers, and the husky, starting to change voices of the boys answering back. "Okay, Mom. In a minute, Ma. Be right there." Or some other evasive response from those who weren't pretending not to hear. When I was in the 4th or 5th grade, there were woods behind our house, and there, at the base of a venerable bushy tree, we built a major fort out of broken cinder blocks and old warped lumber. Tangled in the bushes, we found a rusty length of drain pipe. We fastened it to a tree and made a kind of big nest above the branches, and spent a lot of time scrambling up and down the tree, into the nest, and hollering secret-coded messages into the drain pipe to a comrade below. Our enemies were imaginary, but we could feel their presence. I suppose it would be difficult to describe the magic of those play-filled hours, the drama and importance of the contests, to a kid who's grown up with video games and flickering computer images. But without the crunch of leaves underfoot, the tangy cooking smells, the neighborly ice cream man creeping along in his familiar white truck, summoning us from a distance with his tinkling music to give us time to run inside for change, and without the mother's urgent calling. Even collecting newspapers for the WW2 war effort, tying them in bundles and hauling them home to our musty basements and our look-alike red wagons, the top-heavy loads swaying dangerously as we raced around corners, was kind of a game when we did it together. I remember one cold winter night, in our way home, when the wagons tipped over and the bundles, soggy from the icy rain that had begun to fall, toppled over and spilled onto the pavement, and we fell down laughing so hard we wet our pants. Go describe that to a kid today. We could make up games about practically anything. Pinching pennies, spotting different makes of cars, counting crows or horses on Sunday drives in the country, mumbledy-peg, marbles, trading comic books. Oh, the comic books we traded so seriously, but never sold. That wasn't the game. And how we valued them. Sometimes even Stephen. Sometimes 2 for 1. Or more in good condition. Superman, Archie, Batman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, and Speedy. Plastic Man, Captain Marvel, and Junior. The classic comics, in neat stacks under my bed, with a small army of lead soldiers so carefully arranged, which my mother tried not to disturb when she meticulously poked around with her dust mop, the erect uniformed figures in metallic olive drab, shouldering partly furled American flags, the kneeling riflemen taking careful aim. I guess we played cowboy games, because I remember having a Capgun replica of a 6-shooter with steer horn ivory handles, and I knew it was thoroughly used. My grandson Benjamin, once preoccupied with dinosaurs, now favors swords and elaborate toy figures of destruction. I've asked him not to bring them into our home. I wonder how I'd feel about an old-fashioned cap gun. All the games of my youth were infinitely complex and amusing. I want to call upon them once again for my children and grandchildren if they'll listen, to call them up in detail, to explore not merely their form and function, but also the feeling of those games, the innocent, harmless fun, and the camaraderie they engendered. Suddenly, they seem so close at hand, yet so distant. When I'm gone, I'm afraid they will be too, a fleeting memory without resonance, like the tree that falls alone in the forest with no one to hear. I thought I had more to write, but suddenly I think I'm finished. My friend Peter Mark has been working on his autobiography for 6 months, and he says he's still in 1959. The medication I've been on for the past year seems to have kicked in, stirring dormant brain cells. My spirits have lifted, and I've once again begun to feel some creative energy. Reading through this, and providing some valuable editing, my children have suggested I make it more current. Many of our friendships endure. We recently had brunch with the Haydens and the Dubins, and joined the Richmonds' 50th wedding anniversary celebration. We stay in touch with Joe and Susan Reich, Al and Lisa Gibbon, Bill and Carlotta Braidman, and dozens of other friends of long standing. Deborah is a prolific email correspondent. Our children and grandchildren continue to thrive. Samandi, 21, will shortly graduate from USC Film School. Seth is studying for his bar mitzvah later this month. Ben, 14, is on his way to Roy and Eileen's summer theater camp in Maine for the second year. Catherine, 9, is into gymnastics. Michaela is bright and sociable at 3. Deborah and I are engaged in volunteerism, and with each other, I'm a city commissioner. I've served on our homeowners association board. I currently sing in barbershop chorus and take ukulele lessons. Occasionally, I still do some teaching and lecturing, i.e. for Elder Hostel, and I'm adapting this material as a play, which is about to have a reading at a local playhouse. Deborah has been both a student and a teaching assistant at the Assistive Technology Training Center at Ventura College, and is an active supporter and fundraiser. She handles her mother's affairs as well as many of our own, enthusiastically pursues her genealogy interests, is a master chef and computer wizard in spite of her limited vision, and she continues to see clients. Recently, she started a book club in our neighborhood. She listens to talking books, more than 100 this year. With a membership of 15, there's a current waiting list. One of the songs we've seen in the barbershop chorus is Let There Be Peace on Earth, which was written by Cy Miller and Jill Jackson Miller in the late 50s. Cy Miller was the music coordinator on 77 Sunset Strip when I produced it 40 years ago. Our home is big enough for everyone on Passover and Thanksgiving. We can sleep 12 before hitting the floor. And, partly because of the great climate, we have frequent weekend guests. Deborah loves to have people around her. Our pal, Billy Frenzel, a diamond-in-the-rough Renaissance man, can repair anything, and he helps maintain our computers, our household, and the garden. We are content, though more is behind than before us. The memories are a flood, but there are no more nights, parked on farmers' hilltops, distracted from necking, only by crickets and the city lights below, and fear that we'd left the gate hanging open and it might be noticed. There were other nights on other hilltops, watching fireworks on July 4th with our kids, and those nights are gone too. And so many other things. Ahead next year is a Hawaiian cruise to celebrate our 50th anniversary. Deb's already planning a reception on board for family and friends. I'm pretty sure I've written too much about some events and certain people, and not enough about others. Should this ever get published, I expect to hear from various friends and relatives with various additions and corrections. To all of you I say, it's not my fault, whatever it is. Blame the serotonin.